I was going to call this video why Adidas 510s have destroyed the bike industry, but I thought I'd better not, because one, I thought it sounds a bit clickbaity, and two, I didn't want to get my ass sued by Adidas. I had a bit of an epiphany. I was taking advantage of the sort of sad situation that Chain Reaction and Evan Cycles are in. I bought no fewer than 5 pairs of Adidas 510s. They were selling for £23 a pair. I just couldn't resist. But it suddenly dawned on me sort of a few things about the bike industry at the minute and the reason why we're in such a bad state. Let's go for a bike ride, we'll have a play about and we'll discuss it. So here I am, Hunchurch Woods, just outside Stoke-on-Trent. Not been here for a while, so let's go check it out and we'll discuss the state of the bike industry. So straight out of the car park here, there's a couple of cool little trails if I remember rightly. We're going to go check these out straight off the bat. Just found a funky little jump line. Let's have a look. Ooh. Woo. That's pretty funky. Straight into some roost. That's pretty nice. Another little trail this way. So like, as I was saying, yeah, Hunchurch Woods. So I'm out on the e-bike again. Some of you saying I don't show the bike enough. So it's the Mondraker Crafty R. A few little upgrades, got the Axis wireless gear shifters on it. Hope stem. This is a 2021 now. You know, it's starting to look like a bit of like old technology, or starting to compare. Technology's moving so quickly in the bike industry. It always has done, especially on these e-bikes. It's been moving. Not sure whether to trade this in the next year or so. Looking at some of those like half-fat ones, the lightweight e-bikes, you know, is the compromise of the weight of the battery, the lighter battery versus the range that you're going to get, is, you know, is it too much of a compromise? When I first got this, I definitely felt like it was really compromised going downhill on the technical stuff. Still does a little bit on the steep stuff, but the advantage of being able to go up and do like 10 runs, just bang, 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 is just worth it for me. So yeah, that's what I'm on today. I've been on for a while now, and yeah, go and check out one of these other trails now. Let's do that. I want to talk about the bike industry in a minute once I've done this trail, because I had a lot of thoughts about the bike industry over the Christmas period. Obviously we saw a lot of turmoil. We saw bike companies going bust. We saw, wait, this is fun. We saw, woo, yeah baby. What a trail. This is sick. Oh, nice little drop there, missed that. Oh, don't look at the drop when you've gone past it, McCoy. Yeah, we saw a lot of turmoil in the bike industry, didn't we? And yeah, wanted to sort of had a few thoughts on it. So I'm obviously being a little bit facetious when I said, I think in the title I thought you put something like, we've killed the bike industry, or I've killed the bike industry, something like that. Obviously a little bit facetious. And we've seen all these bike companies going bust, going into liquidation. Orange have gone into administration. A number of factory teams, you know, downhill teams and stuff, have decided to pull funding and drop big name riders and things like that. And we've seen a lot of moving around that's been unconfirmed, you know, like Greg Minar's moved around, Danny Hart been moved and things like that. It's pretty mental at the minute in terms of the bike industry. But this didn't just start recently, did it? This started with COVID. I want to kind of just have a general chat about how the bike industry has been over the last few years. And that kind of all started with COVID. But first, if I remember rightly, there's a trail in here that's really cool. So let's go do that. Let's go. Whoa. So that big epic thing that happened a few years ago that stopped the world and went a bit crazy, there was an immediate effect on the bike industry because all of a sudden everybody, well, most people had a lot of free time. But what happened with the bike industry was everybody decided to buy bikes. All of a sudden they had a load of free time and they also had a load of free money, or almost free money. So everyone had a load of free expendable income and a load of free time, and they started buying bikes, and it all went bonkers, and the bike industry loved it. It went through the roof. Massive profits were recorded, all this stuff. So of course it was make hay while sun shines, literally sort of time. So much so, the bike industry actually coined a bit of a name for it. They called them Rona bikes, because literally everyone was buying them, and it had a massive effect on the industry. First of all, they made loads of profits. Then no one could get hold of anything. No one could get hold of stock. No one could get hold of any bikes. Prices were going through the roof. If you had a second-hand bike, you were getting more for it. Things were going up in value. And it wasn't just bikes. We saw this in the car industry. We saw it in the vans. And this is kind of leading to where we kind of are today, because of course what happened then, like everybody, all these people went out and bought new bikes. All these people that got into this new hobby, loads of people dropped it. You know, you ride your bike a couple of times, it sits in the shed for a year, nobody dropped it. So then the second-hand market was oversaturated. And of course, as that pandemic continued, all that free money and all those three things that we all thought was great at first, all of a sudden people started feeling the pinch. And we saw this in the economy, haven't we? We saw it with, you know, that sort of what happened with Rona, then afterwards with the inflation and interest rates and the credit crunch, what do they call it? The cost of living crisis, fuel prices. This has all been a knock-on effect of coronavirus, which is kind of leading to why the 510 thing is making me think even longer term. But I'm going to go ride these trails around here now for a minute. It's a bit windy on this side, but I think there's some cool jumps and berms, so let's go check those out. So the rain's coming down now, which is quite apt. Maybe it's a sign, because the bike industry's heading for stormy waters as well, isn't it? So why all this stuff I was talking about was to do with that thing that happened a few years ago and everyone buying bikes and then no one being able to sell bikes. Why is that been affected by me buying 510 shoes? I was going to buy some Ride Concepts. I've always had 510s, I've had 510s for years, love them, doing great. And then a few years ago, Ride Concepts came out and I've heard nothing but good things about them. Everyone's raving. So this time my 510s were starting to wear out. So I thought, right, it's time for a set of Ride Concepts. My budget was around about £100. And then one of my friends pointed out that these 510s are 23 quid on Evans Cycles and Chain Reaction. And then it would be like, why don't you buy a few pairs? Because then you've got that's you sorted for shoes now for the next few years. And that's when I had that light bulb moment. I'm not going to buy a pair of shoes for what, 4 or 5 years minimum. I mean, you get at least a year out of a set of 510s, possibly even 2. So that means Ride Concepts aren't going to get my money for a new pair of shoes for at least 5 years. And that's massive. That's going to have an effect, isn't it? And that's the same for the rest of the bike industry. I think a lot of people out there, a lot of companies maybe, have been buying up this stock in bulk. You know, there was like, I think I heard of Maxxis tyres going for £1.50, 26-inch ones, obviously. You'd buy half a dozen, wouldn't you, maybe? Well, maybe half a dozen, but you'd at least buy a couple of pairs. That's going to see you out for a few years. And so this all has a knock-on effect. And like I say, I think some people are buying stuff in bulk and they're sticking it on eBay and trying to make a bit of a profit. But it's definitely going to be turmoil for a bit. These events aren't just happening now and then they're going to be over in 6 months. I think this could be around for a long time. That's going to have a massive effect on the sport. I do a lot of work with British cycling. I sit on the National Council, I sit on the BMX Commission, I sit in the room with a lot of head people at British Cycling, and we discuss how we're going to make the sport better, how we're going to make off-road cycling. You know, we talk about mountain biking and four-cross and BMX and freestyle BMX and all this sort of stuff. It's interesting, that's for sure. But I don't want to end this video on a doom and gloom note. This was an excellent little trail. If you haven't been here already, do so. Lots of little trails, really easy to find. Check it out on Trail Forks, car park here. Just loads of stuff. Short little runs, nice quick climb to the top. Today was a wet day, but it was still loads of fun. Hope you enjoy this, guys. You know, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on this one and the bike industry and how things are going. Yeah, till next time. Take it easy. Bye.